So even elected officials are fed up with a deluge of negative ads in this campaign, but are they working, and has either side gone too far? Joining me now with some answers, John Fury, president of Quinn Gillespie Communications. He's also the director of government affairs there and a columnist for The Hill. And Zerlina Maxwell, a Democratic strategist and contributing writer to several American publications, including Ebony.com and the New York Daily News. Let me ask, have they gone too far, and who's the worst offender? We'll start with you, John.
In the historical context, they're pretty tame. You think about back in 1964 when Barry Goldwater did that famous ad with, or Lyndon Johnson with Barry Goldwater. I mean, these ads are not that exciting. They're not that interesting. There's a lot of them. So in the sense of the money spent on ads, I think they might have gone too far. But the content, I think, is pretty tame.
And just for those, our international audience who aren't familiar, LBJ only ran that ad once, but it's a little child picking the leaves off a daisy, and there's like a nuclear explosion behind them.
It's probably the most searing ad in the history of negative ads. Nothing like that in this campaign.
Zerlina, I'll get your take now.
Well, I certainly think that, there's a lot more ads than usual with super PACs flooding the airwaves in battleground states. But at the same time, I would have to disagree with John to say that there isn't an ad as bad as the Lyndon Johnson ad. I would say that the welfare reform ad that Mitt Romney is running, it doesn't compare to the Lyndon Johnson ad, but it does bring shades of the Willie Horton ad in terms of, being overtly racialized and bringing back the, remembering the welfare queen imagery that here in America, is really ugly and stereotypes black women. And
again, for our international audience who aren't familiar, the Willie Horton ad ran during the Dukakis-Bush campaign, where Willie Horton was paroled while Dukakis was the governor of the state of Massachusetts, and then committed this heinous crime afterwards, and they kind of tagged him to it. I want to get to a couple of spots. You brought up one of them, and we'll get to that one in just a bit, but you're talking about painting these pictures, and these are not really accurate pictures in many respects either. Both of ththese campaigns have been cited by fact checkers for putting out ads that are, if not patently false, at least they kind of twist things. Let's start with an Obama ad, an ad aimed at Obama. Priorities USA, a pro-Obama super PAC, I should say for Obama. Priorities USA, a pro-Obama super PAC, put out an ad that claims that Mitt Romney and Bain Capital, and that's the company that he used to run, are to blame for a woman's death because they closed the factory where her husband worked. Let's take a look at this one.
I don't think Mitt Romney understands what he's done to people's lives by closing the plant. I don't think he realizes that people's lives completely changed. When Mitt Romney and Bain closed the plant, I lost my health care. And my family lost their health care. And a short time after that, my wife became ill. I don't know how long she was sick. And I think maybe she didn't say anything because she knew that we couldn't afford the insurance. And then one day she became ill, and I took her up to the Jackson County Hospital and admitted her for pneumonia, and that's when they found the cancer. And by then it was stage 4. There was nothing they could do for her. And she passed away in 22 days. I do not think Mitt Romney realizes what he's done to anyone. And furthermore, I do not think Mitt Romney is concerned.
Priorities USA Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Very effective ad, great ominous music, tight shots, very dramatic. Problem is, by the time the plant closed, Romney was no longer at Bain. He was running the Salt Lake City Olympics. His wife, that he refers to in the ad, became ill and died 5 years after he lost his job. The wife had her own insurance through her employer for the 2 years after he lost his job. So a lot of the stuff that's in here, and several of the fact-checking groups have ruled this inaccurate, outlandish. Let's start with Zerlina. What about this ad? I mean, and we're seeing this on both sides, and I'll get to Romney in just a bit. This really isn't fair to the viewers and voters, is it?
Well, I think that when you're talking about super PACs on both sides, there's different rules for super PACs. I mean, super PACs are not directly affiliated with either of the campaigns, and so they have a little bit more leeway to stretch the truth. And while I'm not here to defend that ad, I think that it goes to some of the important things that are problematic for Mitt Romney. Number one, he's against Obamacare and health care. Number two, there is controversy over whether or not he, in fact, had left Bain Capital when he said he did. And so two of these things come up in this advertisement. And so you could make those arguments by using, tighter facts and a tighter story that you wouldn't have trouble when fact checkers go and check your ad. And so while this particular ad is problematic, and I think not directly affiliated with the campaign, I think it does raise important issues that could be a problem for Mitt Romney.
Okay, let's give John a chance to jump in here.
Well, the problem with this ad is it's basically accusing Mitt Romney of killing this woman. And that's just so beyond the pale. The other problem is President Obama has raised money, told all his donors that you have to give your money to Priorities USA, and then he walks away from this ad when it's become so blatantly false. So the president's got some credibility issues here. This ad was way over the line, and so many facts were wrong in it, and this is kind of how it's going with this campaign.